Hi, my name's Emma. I'm one of the paediatric trainees in the West Midlands, and given that you're even contemplating watching a video called Kaizen ePortfolio, a point-and-click walkthrough guide, I'm guessing you are too. This video definitely won't be as great as man gobbles at turkeys and turkeys gobble back, but I hope it's useful. Please comment and feedback at the bottom. Because Kaizen is very trainee-led, it's useful to get on top of things before you even walk into your starter placement meeting with your supervisor. This video is designed to help you with that and goes through all the bits you need to sort out beforehand, including bagging yourself a copy of the ARCP checklist, adding your training post, adding your clinical and educational supervisor, health declaration, probity declaration, and induction meeting form, including personal development plan and goals. Please note I'm making this video in September 2019, so I'm using the 2018-2019 version of the ARCP checklist, and there may be changes made to the Kaizen forms or ARCP requirements at a later date. In case you're new to UK postgraduate medical training, I should probably start by explaining what an ARCP even is. An ARCP is an annual review of competency progression. It's basically a meeting which happens at the end of one working year, where people check that you are meeting the standards that a trainee at your level should be, and that you're safe and competent to progress to the next level of training. The ARCP checklist is designed by the Deanery to help you have everything you need to pass your ARCP in your ePortfolio, and you can find it on the West Midlands Paediatrics website. The website address is www.westmidlandspaediatrics.com, but as I've demonstrated here, it will also come up if you just Google West Midlands Paediatrics. You go to Trainee Information and then click ARCP Information, and it's this first link here, so click on that. You can download it either as a PDF or as a Word version, but in true Blue Peter fashion, I have a copy that I downloaded earlier, and I'm on the second page, so there's a cover sheet as well. Personally, I'd recommend uploading the .doc version of the ARCP checklist into a cloud storage platform such as Dropbox or Google Drive. Then you'll have only one up-to-date copy floating around, and you can just print it off at the end of the year. The only disadvantage to this is that you won't be able to access your copy of the ARCP checklist on an NHS computer. I don't find this a big disadvantage, as I tend to use my smartphone when I'm at work instead. So next, you go to Kaizen ePortfolio. And you log in with your RCPCH number. No, not your GMC number. So now we're on the Kaizen landing page. Please note that Kaizen doesn't work very well, or indeed at all, on some older versions of Internet Explorer, which happen to be found on an awful lot of NHS computers. You may need to email your IT department and ask them to install a more modern browser like Firefox or Google Chrome onto computers that you use at work if they aren't installed already. Now we're going to add a training post, which is your record of where you've been and what you've done so far, and also allows the college tutor at your current hospital to access your ePortfolio. So you click the plus in the top right hand corner, and it's under training posts and absences. There we go, training post. It's very straightforward. You put in the date you've completed the event, your start and end dates, your location, your grade, and your full-time percentage. I'm not going to submit any forms as I'm on a test account, but you would click the submit button here. But I'm just going to go directly to the next form. So we're going to add an educational and clinical supervisor next. So you saw me, it's the plus again. And it's under supervision and CSAC forms, this progression, this section here, this one. My understanding is that for your first post, your educational and clinical supervisor should be the same person. And I've worked off that premise whilst making this video. Again, it's a very straightforward form, but here's a tip. Your supervisor gets kicked off your ePortfolio on your end date. So I would add an extra 4 weeks onto the end of your job, just in case you're unable to complete your end of placement meetings before you move on and need to come back to complete them 1 or 2 weeks into your new placement. So you type your supervisor's name into the box. But then you need to select them from this drop-down list to link it with their RCPCH account. I'd get in touch with them directly if they don't show up in the drop-down list for whatever reason. If your educational and clinical supervisor are the same person, you just add them twice in the 2 different sections. Again, you'd hit submit here, and I'm not going to. So I'm going to go back to the landing page this time. I'm not going to say a lot about the health and probity and educational agreement declarations, as they're both basically just contracts that you have to read and sign. They're both way down the bottom of the add new form list in uncategorized here. So educational agreement and health and probity declaration. The health and probity declaration is so straightforward, I'm not even going to go through it. The link is there. Go forth on your voyage of discovery. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. So just to be aware though, you need a health declaration and an educational agreement for every 6-month training post, not per training year, and they're very forgettable little forms. I am going to walk through the educational agreement because your supervisor needs to sign this one too, and I want to talk you through ways to get a form to your supervisor. So you fill out all the necessaries. And then you come to this part. Who would you like to fill in the next section of this form? So you find your supervisor on the drop-down menu. And then you can do one of 2 things. Option 1 is to leave the slider for filling in the same device at no. Click submit and send the form to your supervisor, which means they can access it on their Kaizen account. Benefits of this is that they get time to look over it before your meeting and they can see you're planning ahead. They can also fill in the form after your meeting, meaning less time during the meeting staring at a computer screen. Disadvantages are that if they have trouble accessing their part of the form for whatever reason, it's already been sent and therefore can't be edited from your account during the meeting. Option 2 is to save as draft at this point, and then when it's your meeting time, log in using your own account, so not your supervisor's account, go to your drafts and open the document, move this slider across to yes, and fill in the form during the meeting. This has the advantage of you knowing it's been fully completed there and then, but there's more responsibility on you alone, e.g. if you can't access your ePortfolio during the meeting, it could be difficult to show that you have actually prepared at all. Right, last form before your brain melts, the induction meeting. So it's under the PDP section in the new event area here. The top bits are relatively straightforward, event dates and post details. The Generate Report button brings forward previous PDPs for review. It's not relevant if you're doing your first Kaizen induction meeting, so you can just put the start date of your current post here. Okay, so now we're into the meat of the form. I'm going to fill in on the same device so you can see all the bits that I'm talking about. The induction meeting form asks you to subdivide your future aspirations into 3 separate types: personal development plans, goals, and targets. Targets are an optional extra, so I'm going to mostly focus on the difference between your personal development plan and your goals. The personal development plan is the big picture. I like to think of my personal development plan as what I tell my parents about where my career is going. Some people are able to be incredibly specific about how they want their future to go. And if you can write, I want to be an interventional paediatric cardiologist specialising in single ventricle anomalies at Birmingham Children's Hospital, then great, good for you, whack it in. If you're right at the beginning and you're in the, look, I've ruled out most over 18s, isn't that enough phase of career planning, then I'd advise you to try and look at more short term when describing your career aspirations. There's things all paediatric trainees have to do, like the college exams, which you could talk about, or you can think about what you might need to do to feel confident as a senior SHO or junior registrar. For this example ePortfolio, I'm going to reveal my true dream, which is naturally to be the first paediatrician working at the European Space Agency. That's right, I want to be responsible for the health needs of the first young person in space. So, you then need to sit down with your supervisor and turn your PDP dreams into more practical goals. In other words, the goals should be the steps you take to get closer to achieving your PDP. So here they are down in the supervisor section of the form. The RCPCH sets out the SMARTER system here and recommends using it to check your goals. So for my totally realistic example, I'm going to set a goal of obtain master's qualification in astrophysics. Okay. And you can add a little more detail in the description there. You can get even more concrete than that and relate how you're going to demonstrate that on ePortfolio by setting goal targets. So I'll just open the section here. And if your supervisor is Tank from the Matrix, then you can work together to set up event filters which will automatically link certain ePortfolio submissions as achievements to a specific goal, and progress filters which will tick off how close you are to filling enough events to achieve your target, but I personally have never used this feature of Kaizen, so don't worry about it too much. So that's it. Now we can go back to our ARCP document and check off everything we've done so far. So that's our first post educational agreement, our first post health and probity declaration, and hopefully our induction meeting with our educational supervisor. I hope this video has been helpful. Like I say, please let me know if there's anything else you'd like a video on, or any ways I could improve this video. I'd be really grateful for your feedback, and I hope you enjoy paediatrics.